Woke up this morning, said a prayer in my devotional. I know that God is there, started feeling real emotional. Yeah, I'm so thankful. Because peace of mind he's given me. As I run through my mind, I reminisce about how time after time, yeah, he's forgiven me, and I'm so grateful. I finally found a place where I could just be unbreakable. Now I'm feeling so high, so I sing up to the sky. I am way up, I am blessed. I get up and I get dressed. Gotta go for this run, gotta put in these miles, because the trial soon comes, so for miles and miles I run. Oh. Miles and miles afloat. Oh, I got miles and miles to go. I stare in the face of my mother and my father, and I look up to the one who has given his son. He has given me the strength to go on. The battle has been won. The veil has been torn. It is finished. It is done. And I have been reborn. I'm mounted on wings like eagles I soar. And if patience is a virtue, then you can name me virtue, because patience got me through. Now I stand in the shower, let the water hit my bones, freestyle for a while. I'm definitely in my zone, and I'm glad to finally be home. As he filled me with creativity, he told me, miles and miles you'll go, just wait and see. Now art is me, like artistry has become life to my soul. And every day that I awake, I see a canvas that is blank. I feel the urge to create has been with me since I took my first breath at birth, and it's something that I'll take from life to the hearse. When I arise, I take a look at the sky. I see the sun welcome me to the scene. This is my nativity, sparked energy like a shot of caffeine. There's more to me than what is seen. So let the genius flow, let the energy emit to your spirit as I photosynthesize these organic lyrics. Rhapsodical, when I rap, I'm an oracle. Verses are metaphorical. Speak about life in the world we live in, some conditions so deplorable. Just another one of sin's contributions. No matter if energy can stop me, your power and oppression don't impress me. You just cause tension like a blood clot from hypertension. Now we can't find peace, bombs go off in these streets. From Boston to Iraq, you just lost one and you can't bring him back. He got shot down and torn apart. From Emmett Till to Trayvon to Walter Scott and Freddie Gray, now we still trying to on a search to find freedom. So we pray with our heads bowed, God be with us now. And let us not let the violence get to us, but let our words be peace and positivity. We were made for the world to see that in God we trust, all else is dust to dust. There's nothing better than to do what you love to do, and your life is a gift from above, so to yourself stay true. And every day is a new opportunity to fulfill your purpose and reciprocate that gift, all else is worthless. Vanity, oh vanity, mindless insanity, foolish to forfeit the fruitfulness that God has given me. It's like, when I create, I continue to grow, giving strength like an anemo. Acid, did you ask it? I'm sick with it. When I assist it, it's my acidic wit. Could care less if I'm prolific. My desire is to bring you higher and speak to your spirit. Leave you breathless, be refreshing like a breath mint. Say you'll go on this euphoric flow with this organic lyricist. Like when we were rock and roll exists, what an experience. You exhale ovations as you stand in proclamation that he is the greatest. So many already wander this land, so come with me to Wonderland, and then you'll see that the promised land is in the palm of your hand. Just grab it. I know one day they'll understand, I just wonder when they'll get it. On my search to find hope, I walked a tightrope, but it was my prime time. Will I dance or die? For so long my mind had me locked inside, but when I broke free, it was all she wrote. Liberty, like when we got the right to vote. Now, no matter the weather, whether I'm Monet or Mayweather, I'll always be an electric lady. Watch it, I might shock you, baby. Art brought me some sanity when I knew I needed clarity. There's more to me than what is seen, so let the genius flow. Let the energy emit to your spirit as I photosynthesize these organic lyrics. Art is what it is, this art deco flow like haute couture for your spirit. Here's a little more, let me high fashion this. I'm Versace, Valentino, Venezia, I'm so hot I might as well just Vera wing it. And I know you didn't ask it, but I'm gonna share it because you need it. Art is life and life is art. It's the beat that runs through your heart, please believe it. Will you live to be free or will you be that missing link in history? It's your decision. This is the world we live in. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Did you guys like it? Yeah? All right. Yeah, a little more, yeah? Thank you. So I asked that question, did you like it, to emphasize the point that every time I perform, my confidence grows. Confidence is the foundation of all other abilities. And as my confidence grows, my artistic ability grows, and vice versa. As my artistic ability grows, my confidence grows. Everyone has something that they're passionate about and they love to do. That was one thing that I'm passionate about, my poetry, and spoken word, and I absolutely love it. And everyone has a little bit of genius in them. Everyone is a genius. Albert Einstein says that everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, you'll live its entire life believing that it's stupid. That's so true. We all have something about us, and we have to find that thing, whatever that thing is, or things. I believe I have things. So my name is NeFesha, and my things are art and poetry, creative writing, rapping, writing music, songwriting, and I work in the community as a community activist. Those are my things, and I love those things. And I'm here to speak to you about creative growth and how you can grow through the arts and creativity. I know I've grown exponentially through the arts. The poem that you just heard was called Organic Lyrics. I wrote that thinking about this talk and thinking about how I've grown through the arts and how the arts has influenced my life, and also how it can impact other people. One of the lines that I say in it, in Organic Lyrics, is, "Art is life and life is art." And it's so true, because every day you're creating something. Another line I say is, every day I create, every day I wake, I see a canvas that is blank. Every day that you wake up, you have a blank canvas. And I wake up thinking, what is it that I'm creating for the day, and what is the message that I'm trying to portray? And that's my artistic way of seeing life. Another line that I say in the poem Organic Lyrics is, "Art brought me some sanity when I knew I needed clarity." That line really depicts what art has done for me. Like, it has brought so much clarity. It is a tool that God used for me, and I know that it's being used for other people in so many ways, and so many different forms of art that can be used to bring clarity, help people process. And as I continued to do art, I realized that, especially with music, music can be so impactful and so influential. We all have songs that when we hear, it takes us back to moments, right? And we have songs that we hear that we know exactly what it smelled like at that moment, who we were with, all these things. And so I started to think about how music can be influential. And I took a lot of my poetry, I've been writing poetry for years, and I began to write music because that made sense to me. And most musicians are poets anyway. So I created an album called State of Emergency. And State of Emergency was all about, these different states of society, states of people that I talk to. I work with a lot of youth, and I'm able to talk to them about what's going on in their lives. I remember one day I was at a junior high school speaking to a group of junior high students at an assembly, and before I went up, a teacher came up to me and began to speak to me about the student. She introduced herself, and then she began to tell me about these 12 and 13-year-old girls that were getting pregnant at such a young age. And I really, how I process is I write. And so I did the talk, and I spoke to them, and I performed for them, and I spoke to them about fulfilling their dreams and accomplishing what they have and what's inside of them and what God has given them. But when I went home, I began to write, and I wrote a song called She Cried for I, and it's about a young girl that gets pregnant, and now she has to deal with this new reality of life. I also speak about things like human trafficking, self-confidence, self-image, self-mutilation, depression, and fulfilling your destiny in this CD. And all of my poetry, I try to keep it positive and influence so many people with positivity. You might be wondering how I got into creativity in the arts. Well, I've always loved fashion. In the Organic Lyrics, I speak about, I'm Versace, Valentino, Venezia, I'm so hot, I might as well just Vera Wang it. I love fashion, and I love to design, and I've always liked to write, and creative writing has been influential in my life, but it wasn't my first love. You see, my first love was basketball. There I am. I played basketball from a young child up, and I remember, looking back over my life, I can see how the arts has even impacted my athletic career. I used to write before games and after games, and kind of creative writing, thinking about how I did and how I could get better. And not only that, I was a performer on the court. I loved to perform. I loved to be out there amongst the people and get the crowd involved in the game so that it wasn't just me on the court, it was everyone's game. And I realized that I was a performer in that moment as I look back over my life. And then, off the court, I was also a performer. I remember in 6th grade, a teacher came to our classroom and she said, "Who wants to sing the final part in 6th grade graduation for I Believe I Can Fly?" Now, I had sang in the choir before, but I never did solos, because, that's a whole nother level. But I raised my hand, and here I am, 6th grade graduation, singing I Believe I Can Fly. And I remember thinking, why in the world would I do this? Why did you raise your hand? Like, that was the craziest thing you could do. But it was an ingrained part of me, and I loved to perform, and I loved what I did. And it taught me that I love challenges. It was I learned some more about myself. I love to be challenged. I love to excel, and I am constantly trying to be excellent at what I do. Aristotle has a quote on excellence. He says, "Excellence is an art, won by training and habituation." We do not act rightly because we have virtue or excellence, but we have those because we have acted rightly. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. I was constantly trying to be excellent in what I did. And as I got older, I was achieving things, but I ran into a wall, a very big wall for me, and I realized I was dealing with depression, like very deep depression, severe depression, and I couldn't get through that wall. And so I was trying to figure out what I could do, and one thing that I turned to, what made sense to me, now this is for me, may not be for everyone else, but this made sense to me. I started boxing. Within the first year of boxing, I won my first national championship, and they named me fighter of the tournament that year at the US Championships. I loved boxing, and it taught me a lot. It taught me about myself. It taught me how to push myself. And now I train young girls in Philadelphia how to box also, and give them those life skills that I learned through boxing. But I found some parallels with boxing, and specifically with poetry. I realized that, my training was not just for me to win championships. It was for me to win in life. And God was using that just to teach me these life skills. I remember one day my boxing coach took me to the gym, and our gym was at the top of this hill, and it was a quarter mile up, and just straight up. I went to college out in Pennsylvania, so I was in the hills. And so I'm at we come to the bottom of the hill, and he shows me this pile of logs from a tree that he had cut down. So we have all these logs, and each one are like 70 to 90 pounds. And I'm looking at him like, okay, what am I supposed to do with these? So he told me to take each log one at a time to the top of the hill, drop it off, and come back down for the next one. You see me, right? I'm small. When I was boxing, I might have been a little bit smaller because we always try to lose weight. I don't get that yet. So I like challenges, though, like I said. So I took those logs one at a time to the top of the hill, and I learned so much about myself. I learned that there was nothing that I couldn't do, and that if I could visualize it, I could do it. Now, there's some things that I'm just not going to do. Like I can visualize flying, but I don't think I'm going to fly. But I could visualize taking those logs to the top of the hill and accomplishing the goal that he had set before me. So I began my journey, and I did it. And now, looking at poetry, I can see how I learned from that and how poetry is just like that. I remember looking at spoken word artists and thinking, I want to do that. I would see them on YouTube and say, I want to do exactly that. And then I wrote my first spoken word piece, and it was longer than I expected. It was about 8 minutes long. Now, what I just did for you guys was somewhere around 4.5 minutes. But this one was about 8 minutes long. It was the first time that I had memorized something that long. And so I looked at it like that hill with the logs. And line by line, just like log by log, I began to memorize the poem. And now I can memorize poetry, and it's something that I've taught myself. But as creative individuals, you can grow so much just by working at it. It's a work ethic thing. And I've learned that. And through creativity and the arts, I've been able to do so many things. Right now, I work as an arts director at a community center called Orange Korner Arts of Iuta Community Center. Some of my girls are here today. And we do some really cool projects. And no matter what I do in life, I always come back to working with youth. Because they give me life, I learn so much from them, and I'm able to impart some of the knowledge and wisdom that I've learned in my life to them. Here's a mural that I did a few years ago. It's at the NeFesha Center in North Philadelphia, and they worked alongside us. I was the lead artist on this mural. Orange Korner Arts connected with NeFesha Center, and we were able to do this mural. And this was a great accomplishment, not only for me, but really for all of the youth that were there. And they learned that through the arts, they can grow so much. They can accomplish a task, and it can spread to every other thing that they do in their life. I've had many opportunities to speak at a variety of places. This is another mosaic that I have at a store called House of Flair, where I'm the in-house artist, and I'm able to teach not only to youth, but adults. And I learn from them, and they learn from me, and they learn through the arts. and it just keeps going. You know, I am able to teach and learn, and that's what growth is about. That's what creative growth is about. I go to a variety of spots. This is me at a junior high school where I was speaking, and that's the same day that I wrote the poem, the song She Cried for I and I. And I speak to them about fulfilling your dreams. But what really catches their attention is I always start with a poem. I start with a song, whatever it may be, and it grasps their attention immediately. And so the arts can be really powerful to share a message in whatever form it is that you're trying to share. It could be math, it could be science, but using the arts, it's incredible how you can teach through the arts. Change is inevitable and growth is intentional. We're constantly changing as people. We're constantly, going through different stages of life that are just, we're going to change. We're going to get older. We're going to get gray hair at some point, probably. If you don't have it yet, then you're going to have it. You could try to diet as long as you want. But growth is not necessarily going to be something that happens without work. Growth takes the time to learn what it is that you're trying to do. And so creative growth is all about continuously learning. To reach greatness and obtain greatness and fulfill the destiny in your life, you have to continuously learn. And that's what I try to teach through the arts. Everyone has something that they're genius about, Ed. We all are genius. And I share that whenever I perform. I say, we're all genius. You just have to find that thing. And when you reach a certain level, I remember with boxing, I reached a level where everyone was good. And I just thought, how do you excel at this? And it's really about who wants it the most. And what is it? For me, it is about purpose and destiny. Who wants to fulfill their purpose and destiny the most? Who wants to accomplish what it is that God set them here on this earth for the most in their life? So I'm going to share a little bit more, one more song. And this song, it involves a little bit of crowd participation. And all I need you guys to do is just clap with me, all right? That's it. I'm not asking anybody to dance or anything. All right, you're just going to clap, all right? I'm going to start, and then you just follow, okay? Here we go. Just a little clap. There we go. Now, you can dance if you want to. Here we go. I want to see you move, and I want to see you dance. His love is in the air, I can feel his romance. I know that his love is with me in times of trouble. And I know that his love is with me wherever I go. So I won't waste time and worry because he loves me so. I know we all will shine, yeah, you and I. We're on a heavenly flow. Get on your heavenly flow. Get on your heavenly flow. Thought I was done for good, but should've known it was lies. My path has been wooded, unknown to the eyes. Now I'm chopping down trees so I can see in front of you. These branches and leaves in my view. I could have sworn that I could fly, but they told me that I couldn't, yet still I rise. And they said that they wouldn't, so the spirit still dies. And they told him that he shouldn't, but he still tries. And we still fly, and we still rise. And we still fly, and we still rise, and we still shine. No one has seen the way, yet my mind already knew. I've been it all. A servant, a greeter, a cook, and a waiter. Now I rock fancy blazers just to clear the way. Natural born trailblazer, make way for a new day. Yeah, I'll see you later. I see you later. I see you later. I see you later. I see you later.